It's another edition of Coffee with the Goose. You know, I talk about things that are interesting, fascinating, and irritating. Yes, I am the Goose, and I'm so glad you joined me again. The topic today, oh goodness, the topic is coffee. Right, it's always coffee, and Lord knows I need it. I'm not a coffee addict like some people. I think one of my sisters drinks like 3 pots of coffee a day. That's, too much. With me, just 1 cup, especially before I talk to you guys. Got to have my wits about me, right? My coffee, very strong, like my opinion. And of course, I got some cream in there to make it sweet, just like me. All right, here we go. The topic today is boxing, okay? And as you saw by the title, the real thought I want to pass along to you guys today is Filipinos do not fight bums. There's no, as they used to call them, tomato cans. We've seen that throughout history, especially with Manny Pacquiao and other great champions that have come from the Philippines. And the topic continues. We've got 2 great fights coming up. I am so excited, and I know you guys are too. 2 championship fights, by the way, one of which is a rematch. And that, of course, is the battle between Nonito Donaire and Mr. Naoya Inoue from Japan. It is for the share of the Bantamweight Championship of the world. And this is a great matchup. Again, 2 magnificent fighters. Donaire, really a future Hall of Famer. He's 39 years old, but he's showing no signs of slowing down. And you better not slow down if you're going to get into the ring with Inoue. He's from Japan. They fought 2.5 years ago, and it was an absolute war between 2 great, great fighters who have boxing skills. They have heart. They have fundamentals. They have it all, and they are both knockout artists. But at the same time, they're not sluggers. They're not in there swinging wildly as we saw in that first matchup. So let's kind of lay out the details for you as we get ready for this fight. It's going to be on June 7th in Japan, just like the first one was took place. Donaire, the Filipino Flash, 39 years old, as I said, originally from the Philippines, and he has been living in the United States for quite a while. He's had many world championships. He's had titles in 4 different weight divisions. His current record, 42-6 with 28 KOs. He is the reigning WBC bantamweight champion of the world. And Donaire, he's more than just a great fighter. He is a gentleman. And this is, I'm not saying fighters from other countries aren't good guys. That's not what I'm saying. But, with the Philippines, this is, by and large, this is the case with almost all of them. They're good guys. They're very respectful of their opponents. They praise God. They love their family. They love their fans. They give you every penny's worth. When you watch their fights either in person or pay-per-view, you don't walk away going, God, this guy just ran and played hide and seek with his opponent. No, they came in to fight and with skill and with heart. And Donaire is no exception. The opponent, Inoue. I love his nickname, the Monster. Now, when you're talking about bantamweights, talking about 118 pounds, that's not a monster. Oh, no, contraire, sir. Inoue is an absolute beast, and he is 22-0 with 19 knockouts. And he, again, like Donaire, is an extremely talented boxer. He's only, 29 years old. He's the reigning WBA and IBF bantamweight champion of the world, and he's fought and won titles in 3 different weight classes. Now, they fought in November of 2019 in Japan, and it was a fight for the ages. I just went through some of the old stories and what was the tale of the tape? What did the experts expect in that fight? And almost to a T, almost all of them said, Inoue's going to take him out in 3 or 4 rounds. Well, he didn't. It went the required 12 rounds, and it was a war. And Inoue felt Donaire's power. He suffered an orbital bone fracture, that is around the eye, and a broken nose, and he was bloodied up. He was hurt a couple of times. And Donaire may have won that fight if not for the 11th round knockdown that he suffered, and it was a classic Inoue punch to the liver. But he's got a lot more than that. But he hurt Donaire badly and ended up winning a unanimous decision. Both of these guys are great fighters, as I said. The strengths, Inoue comes in with an extremely busy work rate. He's going to outwork you. If you're going to stay in the ring with Inoue for the entire 12 rounds, you better throw punches. You better keep your hands busy, because that's what he's going to do. He is going to keep the pressure on you the entire fight. He has great speed. He has great timing. He's got good footwork and power, and of course the body shots. And Donaire was not the first fighter to be hurt to the liver by Inoue, and we'll see if that happens again in the next fight. Donaire has many strengths as well. His signature punch, they're both orthodox fighters, by the way, right-handers. Donaire's signature punch is the left hook. He has hurt many fighters with the left hook, and if he's going to beat Inoue this time around, that has to be one of his strengths that he's going to take advantage of. He, like Inoue, has great speed, although he's not, in my opinion, quite as quick as Inoue. He is just as powerful, and he is a good counterpuncher, and he's going to have to do that against Inoue. Now, I've seen a couple of interviews with both of these guys recently, and the title to one of the videos for Inoue is, "Oh, I'm going to retire Donaire." Well, no, he didn't say that. God, I hate bad journalism like that. They just they're trying to get you in with a hook like that. He never said that. He's very respectful, like Donaire, and but he did say he wants to retire him. I don't think that he's gonna, if Donaire loses, he'll retire. But his days are numbered. He's 39 years old. It's going to be a great matchup. We'll get into the details as the fight draws nearer. Donaire is, I think, like 3 inches taller, but their reach is pretty similar. So it's all going to boil down to the game plan. And I saw an interview with Donaire also recently, and he mentioned he's very confident, as all champions are. And he said, I know I can beat this guy. And the mistake he made in the first fight was he didn't really have a game plan. He just went in there blindly, if you will. And even though you're a great fighter, you don't do that. You've got to prepare for each opponent, especially at the championship level. And Donaire says he will be prepared this time. So it's going to be a wonderful matchup. Again, that's going to happen in Japan on June the 7th. And the second fight I'm looking forward to, as we talk about how Filipinos don't fight bums, that is the relatively new world champion in the featherweight division, Mark Magnifico Magsayo, from the Philippines, from Bohol. I've been there. I've been to all of these countries, as a matter of fact. Been to Japan, too, and wonderful experience there, as well as the Philippines, as well as Mexico, where Magnifico, his opponent, is from, and that's Ray Vargas. This, just like the other matchup, will be a great challenge for both of these guys. Magsayo won his WBC featherweight title against Gary Russell Jr. Earlier this year in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And Magsayo is a really scary fighter. And if you watched that fight like I did, you saw early on, even though Russell's a great fighter, Magsayo got the better of him early on and hurt him with a shot to the shoulder. And Russell fought basically one arm for the rest of the fight from the 3rd or 4th round on and made a good show. But, for those folks, including Russell himself, who say, oh, well, he won the fight, or if he wasn't hurt, he would have won. Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Magsayo caused the injury, and he was winning before that injury happened anyhow. So Magsayo got the better of him, and in true Magnifico style, he was walking him down. He's a very aggressive fighter. He's young. He's 26, but 24 fights. He's got a lot of experience, including the amateur level. So Magsayo is he's a scary guy as well. 24-0 with 16 KOs. from the island of Bohol in the Philippines. And Ray Vargas is a great challenge for him. He's from Mexico. He is 31 years old. He used to have just a couple of years ago, the WBC Bantamweight Championship of the world, but now he's fighting at featherweight, trying to take Magsayo's title from him. Vargas is 35-0 with 22 KOs, so he's the real deal. And you look back at his resume, and he's fought a lot of very, very good fighters. He's very talented, and he has a decided height and reach advantage over Magsayo. Is that something that the Magsayo camp should be worried about? No, not at all, because he's fought several fighters with greater reach and height than his, and didn't really come into play at all. He won all of his fights, well, just like Vargas has. This fight is going to happen on July 9th in San Antonio, Texas. You can catch that one on Showtime, and I'm looking forward to this one. Magsayo was gracious enough to grant us an interview after his victory over Gary Russell Jr., and I'm confident we'll get to chat with him again in the weeks leading up to this fight on July 9th. So there you go. Two great fights. I'm very eager to watch both of these and do a little homework and, try and figure out who's going to win. Of course, my record in predictions isn't very good these days, but hey, that's how it goes. It's a championship level. You never really know who's going to win. But this Inoue and Donaire fight, I'm not going to make a prediction on that. That's just up in the air. Yeah, I have no idea. But we'll do our homework and study both of these guys and try and figure out what's going to happen. And that's half of the fun of watching these great fights, as with any sporting event, is talking about it and trading information and the predictions. And this is a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to it. Again, Filipinos don't fight bums, and here's two great examples with Nonito Donaire and Mark Magsayo, both championship fighters out to defend their titles in the coming months. It'll be Donaire against Naoya Inoue in Japan on June 7th, and Mark Magsayo against Ray Vargas on July 9th. That's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, we'll talk more about these fights as fight night draws nearer. And look forward to reading your comments. You got a great, very smart boxing crowd who watch the Boxing with the Goose. Coffee with the Goose too, right? So give me your comments. Love to know what you guys have to say. And thank you so much for watching. And many, many thanks to all of you guys who subscribe to our channel. Again, that's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thanks for watching. And we'll talk to you again soon.